Alright. Fingers crossed. Looks like things are set up. We live. Okay. I have no clue if this auto streams on YouTube. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. So far, only the Twitch bot has said it's live. Might unfortunately not be able to multi-stream to YouTube, at least not with my setup currently. I've not gotten around to that. Oh well. It's a problem for another evening. Actually, let me take a look at the funny questions. Just see what's going on. We still got 30 minutes, so it's probably going to be an open lobby beforehand. But start seeing if there's anyone in particular it might serve us well to ask for their participation. Is that Arubith Chandler?
Was I? Your salty winner of yesterday with random select only.
Wait, did you actually?
So, me and Swing were for grand finals, and we agreed between trio randoms.
Gentlemen.
I was obviously the superior player, 3-1, my favor. Zolly went through the funny experience of basically only fought me and Swing. Zolly beat Swing in the winners semis, lost to me in winners finals, lost to Swing in losers finals, and it was a funny time. Zolly definitely got hold. Ooh.
I wanted to finish my dinner, and that last bite of tenderloin was a lot larger than I bargained for. And so I'm just sitting here going, this is awkward. Trying not to...
for me to chew.
Just sitting here muted. And it's like, you finished, you kind of notice, you're like, okay, I'm going to keep going. And then you finish, and I'm still not even like halfway done. I'm like, well.
Yeah. Oops. It's like, probably should have cut it into bigger pieces.
Whoopsie daisies. But yeah. I didn't actually take a big look through the questions. I should actually check.
Questions are not too bad. I think for the most part we can answer it.
Yeah, I was just like, is there anyone that would just do us well to
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Robo. I know there's Eliza in here, but I'm seeing a lot of Robo Fortune. Let's see. There's some other like general type beat questions, but for the most part, the only main ones I see are Robo. Like, it's the only name I'm seeing coming up. If there's an Eliza, you play Eliza? Let's see.
I play Butchers. I don't know about Eliza.
That's like close enough.
Biller Butchers, my beloved.
Biller Butchers definitely has gotten me very far in many tournaments.
Thanks for stopping by, Octo. Nothing much so far. We have 20-ish minutes before we'll actually get started, and so we're just doing whatever. Right now, I always forget. That's my computer stream. I'm sorry. I always forget that Windows is like the thing that doesn't actually get muted when I have OBS on. So I always end up like plugging something into my computer, and it just like all the sound effects. I'm just like, no, when will you learn?
Yo, it's okay. It's okay, Dennis. If you really break it down, you stream like every like 2-3 months, so nobody's gonna notice. They'll be like, oh, what did I play?
Okay, so yeah, I saw something about Dahlia, which I'll kind of be able to answer. But that's probably an easy enough question to answer.
I mean, right now, well, it also doesn't help that we also just yesterday got a new patch for Dahlia.
That is, oh yeah, but the Dahlia question is much more just neutral, which I think I can address because I'll at least explain it. Like I would explain Parasol neutral because from at least from playing Race and Cloud, that's what it feels like.
I haven't played against a Dahlia in a minute, but yeah, no, Dahlia is kind of funny. She definitely makes it go different.
Yeah,
man, it's so crazy. I don't know what kind of who Mario thinks he thinks they're gonna play, but I think you should just stay and wait there, Dots. If you do not look at the Wi-Fi player, they will not notice you. You can say that you stepped away from the booth. Not even watching the stream for all we know. They probably joined thinking that they can get some free games.
I have
Look at that. Yo, you see that? You see how it changed? It was from green, now it's to yellow.
I have a couple different ideas. This is one of them.
Oh yes! See, it's a good thing you're the one hosting it, because if it was me, I would have been frame one. I'll be like, I don't know who joined, looked like a spam bot.
But I have a better idea.
I hope I know what it is. What it is.
I think you know.
I have a pretty good feeling.
Back on the beat.
Oh. Oops.
It had to be done.
Oh my god, did he actually get hit by it?
No, he didn't get hit by it. I'm pretty sure he saw it coming a mile away.
Accept a match, coward?
I did accept it. Hey, please OBS. Do it. So sometimes it's weird, and I need to go back into like full screen for it to actually register Skullgirls as a game capture again, and it looks like it's gonna. This is one of the situations.
Oh, hold on, wait, hold on. Well, yeah, someone's not here, so I can do this real quick.
OBS, please. There we go. Alright,
there we go.
Alright, click the lobby. Nothing happened. The lobby link is the same. Smile.
That's so true. You know what? Since maybe I play with you. Provide some content for the stream.
I wish the worst upon you.
Yo, they disrespected a mod and said that they wish the worst upon us.
Is their name still 25? Yeah, it is. Okay.
There is.
I love how I think it was the same week where I finally took Mercy and removed the nickname. I'm like, okay, it's been long enough.
It was the fact that you took the Mercy and then you're like, really? I literally just took away your name. I finally fixed it and you brought it back. Alright.
I'll do this funny team.
Alright. Oh, hold on.
You get to see my glorious Robo.
Oh, you know what? If we're gonna have fun, hold on. I wanna have fun too. I wanna have a
The Ruby Philia? Question mark. Drench.
If I knew I wasn't going against a Para, I would have put Philia. I heard that matchup's not fun.
I mean,
it's not like this matchup is any better either.
Well, that's not what I wanted. Where'd my shot? Did I hit bad?
Yeah.
I am so upset.
Alright, now it's like I'm back at Salty where we got LD now.
Except LD beats you. I definitely don't.
You literally cannot prove that. I thought I got the safe jumping. Come on!
No, it's not. Butchers. Oh my god, I was still in recovery. God. Air toss us recovery. Brass. Paintings of me.
Me too. Oh!
I did not get my up forward. What? What?
Watch this.
Oh, you're mashing.
You know, we were trying to never. How dare you? You can't hurt me.
Oh.
You can't hurt me.
I was like, how do I deal with this? It just works.
She got out of the Gundam. Alright, he won't be ready for this. Yo, they told me that her box was so wide that I can do that. I feel like I've been lied to.
That's awkward. That was supposed to be a TK Horus.
TK air throw, that's close enough. Oh my god!
I'm so surprised the chat hit, I'm not gonna lie.
I'll be real, I am also shocked.
Oh, safe jump. 100% intentional. Definitely. Whoops. I thought I could hit you and die.
That was like a bomb. Who's coming first?
Maybe I should have just fallen on you with Skeleton. I actually don't know if it would have come out fast enough.
I mean, to be fair, oh my god.
Uh-oh. Leave my friend alone!
Oh.
Uh-oh.
She scared me. She was like,
leave my point alone. My head. You wouldn't call the only character I know how to play, would you?
You know how to play Eliza. I seen you. I seen that work. I like the attempt. It's fine. If my robo's free, she'll be cooking. Promise. Definitely won't just run away and beam and not even do a full industry combo. Uh-oh. Ooh, imagine. Alright, in my head, you landed a lot faster than that. I'm laughing, I can't finish the combo. I was like, they're gonna land and they're gonna get beat. Really? What is up, stunner? Or stun? Oh my god, I thought I push blocked you out. Oh my god, what? Oh my god, if I was a little bit smaller, that would have been your butt. Actually, DP wouldn't have even won there because it's a projectile. My air throw? Nice. I'm shocked my air throw didn't catch you there. What side was I on? Alright, I love these. I'll watch this. Oh no.
Thank you, Eliza.
Alright, let's see. Is Get Gr8?
So
today is a live stream. It's technically part of the Get Gr8 Saturday, but it's definitely like it's just that on the fourth Saturday we do a thing called a live stream, which is essentially answering questions that are showing up from previous Get Gr8 forums that other players have asked, and we try to address it all in one go.
I was restood. Yeah. So there are no matches today, unfortunately. It is just us trying to answer questions people might have and are unable to answer themselves. My player.
Now imagine if the technology still existed. Oh.
I know.
Dawn, so you know what's gonna happen.
Oh god, I don't have TKs. No. I know I was out. No, you don't have. Oh god.
I don't have one dance.
Well, my push block absolute guard did not turn into an absolute guard. I got hit over.
You got hit absolutely punished.
Oh. You don't like my oncoming cartouche?
I didn't even know it was supposed to. Yo, Ruby, why don't you run Soul Grinder?
Uh oh. I'm in danger. That's what I would say.
Alright.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I have what you're gonna get.
I'm not getting my TK Horuses.
Okay, watch this. Oh my god!
I'm watching.
Okay, words are faster than my hands, okay? Alright, ready for this time? What the?
That was not intentional. Oh, yeah. Brain. I was so confused after. No. That ain't right.
What do you mean?
That ain't right. What is that air throw?
Yo, she stuck her tongue out. She was like, yo, Yoshi.
Her whole tongue is not the hitbox. That looks far even for like what her throw actually is. What was?
Well, Parasol's whole hand isn't the the whole like grab, but we don't complain about it.
That up forward actually beat my jab. Are you serious?
Yo, that's what JP said to do. Do up forward.
They removed the infinite dashes, but they didn't remove that. Pain. What? The dash plank throw, cringe, garbage.
Yo, trust. You're only getting hit by an air throw. It's not like you're getting hit by an instant overhead. You should have just guessed that. I don't know what to tell you.
Why am I push blocking this? I know you're not supposed to push block this. Who's been over this?
Oh, what?
Oh, that hit me. I tagged. Oh, chowder. I swear I tagged that throw. That sweeps.
No, your sweep.
My sweep is also good. Uh oh.
I'm out of here.
No way. Thank you, Eliza.
I'm mad.
Not like it matters, but no, it's fine. The Ruby I know drops these. I got push block baited by the air throw. Pain.
Wait. Oh my god, I like that line. That's cute. I have a skeleton on me too. All right, good luck, Dunce. Now you get to go through what I went through last week.
I was not paying attention. I was checking other things.
That's why I did not ready up. Be jump scared.
Sure, I'll play the Kano team.
Let's see. So it
Well,
doesn't matter what team
it's
you
Bella
play. It's a matter
Eliza
of whether or not
too.
you'll even be able to play. Para Eliza?
No,
Now
it's
that's gonna be a real
Bella.
jump scare. Oh,
Bella.
Bella. Oh,
Yeah.
Bella double Eliza. Yo, this
Yeah. Have fun
person.
reacting
No,
to this. Smile.
this person wants to have fun.
Oh, but
Oh.
that ain't right.
I gotta see what it looks like on your side right now. Hold on. I gotta see the stream now. Okay, you got this, Dunce. Don't, it's Wi-Fi and SA, I believe. If she didn't have a double jump, you were right. Bella moment. Battle boots. Oh my god, I'm seeing the slowdown. Oh my god, Fortune, turn around.
What? It didn't want me to cross up the inputs?
This game is funny whenever it decides when it doesn't want cross-ups. If they would have got gripped by that. Oh, let's go pillar. Try to get into the dead zone, don't worry. Alright, Leo, do you know how to tag out? Yo, the SA buff is real. The battle button didn't give up. Oh.
What is... This ain't right. We're not tagging out, though.
I don't think they know how to tag out.
I'm gonna just...
Yo, don't worry. Yo, I see that waiting for opponent?
Oh my god, when did Eliza get here?
Yo, Leo, I hope when you're playing this right now, you have like the Infinity Stone Gauntlet on you. Like, I don't know, it seems like you got Time Stone rolling, you got Reality Stone rolling. Oh my god.
This ain't right.
This is a Wi-Fi SA connection. Let's go pillar.
Hack your assist.
Alright. Calling the gang. Calling the goons. Bites! Oh, never mind.
No, I just need to do that.
Wow.
I don't know what to tell you. My defense is just stupid no matter what. I just have good habits. I don't know how or why. It just works. What in the world was that?
Oh, you know. I'm telling you, there's certain characters that go up a few tiers when there's rollback involved.
So give me a character who doesn't go up a few tiers, like unironically.
Okay, okay. Here's the thing: is that like, okay, like Penguin, I know we say that she's like low tier, right? But imagine her on the rollback roll. Yo, you ain't seen anything. Like, you weren't gonna block that. Like who's one that wouldn't get affected? Like, who's on this list?
No.
Like, freaking.
I didn't
what
punish
can I
that.
call it? It's not like Robo Fortune is gonna go up any more tiers because of rollback.
I don't know. Trying to get through lasers you can't even see hitting you sounds miserable to me.
I mean, even if you can see the lasers, it's not like you also play some of the taller characters, the widers.
I'm gonna just do this.
Get rid of the P. Oh, it was nice to see you, George. You had the right idea, Dodovix. You so had the right idea.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, but that breaks.
Oh, never mind.
Oop, too late.
And I'll bonk up the head. Good shot.
Nice air dash. It's really unfortunate. Oh, we're going for dive kicks. Oh, it's staggered.
It traded her favor on weak. Hello? Alright, do the funny?
Oops. You can't laser. Not there.
Yes, the funding. Oh my god, you did the yo-yo. Oh.
Actually break it. Okay.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do one more match after this and then get the oh my god, we dropped it. Probably do one more stream match and then we're gonna get the live stream going.
Oh, that's awkward.
Shadow Carta.
I have an idea. No, they had an idea.
Their idea was better.
I was definitely not fishing for a laser attack there. Oh. Munch.
Okay, yeah, I think we got time for one more and then go for
Uno mas, yeah. I think there's a link all the way up at the top of chat, but I don't know if you can actually see that right now.
I can always put it. Like...
Yeah. One final match and then we'll get started.
And then we will spread false informations. I mean,
I would
what?
never spread false information.
I will not spread false information, but I will definitely gaslight the chat room.
Where have I been pinged? Okay, it's nothing. You know what? It's been a while since I've done this. Welcome to jail immediately.
Oh, you're doing the 2013?
Good blocks. I wasn't blocking that.
Speaking of watching good blocks right now, I'm watching the Leo versus Octa right now. I think they're mistiming their Bomber Plus.
Oh god. I'm not timing my jump straight to get through this zone. Am I dead?
Wait, why didn't you do 6 HP? Or not 6? Yeah, why don't you do 5 HP?
Just...
Would have been cool. Oh my god.
I didn't block off second time.
Oh, no Bombo after Octo. No Abomination after. Oh! Oh, no punish.
That, I did not want charge there.
The lock and load.
Oh wow, what a falling light puncher. Oh, that's unfortunate for you.
Let's see it.
I did use that. I was like, wait.
Wait. We kill here? Finish it up?
Uh-oh.
I saw your life flash before your eyes on that laser beam ready to happen.
Alright. Thank you all for hopping in. I shall get to the lab, and we can start getting going. That was the right place.
Going good.
Okay.
Okay. I got the lab questions on one side.
So,
Get party started.
first part is not
necessarily a question.
Yeah. Some ways to fight against robo pressure with M-Bomber system. What robos are running M-Bomber?
I'm pretty sure Softy runs it something like that, don't they?
They might. I'm trying to... I'm trying to think about what Robo would be doing to you in the corner, because in my head she's just running away afterwards.
Well, the most that I can think of is like what Saw plus Bomber. You know, you do
Or
something like
just
that,
threaten
and
high
then you do
low.
the double jump overhead.
I mean, even just stunned heavy kick, because you get a conversion off of bomber afterwards.
Yeah. But I mean, the question is also as well as to what character that you're fighting back, or you're fighting, or like you as a defender is.
I'll do.
Because that also kind of matters.
So strike and Vaughn. Is there anyone in the game without a strike and Vaughn something?
That depends on the something.
No, everyone has something strike.
Strike and bone.
I mean, okay, Squiggly without anything doesn't necessarily have, but she has Daisy. Which fills similar
Painwheel
purposes.
also doesn't have something.
Death Call is.
That strike and bone?
Death Call is strike and Vaughn. Am I crazy? I can go check this right now. At least like on startup. To use as a match.
Probably on full invuln on startup, or full invuln, yeah.
Yeah. Get out of here.
I thought you meant this more as meterless.
No. Because there's a lot of people without strike. Are there a lot of people? There's Robo.
Well, Robo has more armor than it is of strike and bone, though.
Yeah. But who else doesn't have a strike and vulnerable special? So Robo, Painwheel.
I'm pretty sure everyone, almost everyone. I mean,
Valentine?
to a certain extent. Peacock doesn't have strike and bone super.
She does. Special. It doesn't matter. Oh, we're getting sidetracked. Trying to think of what characters might be hard to deal with this. Maybe. And then because I don't have a great idea of what actually they're asking.
I think they're just trying to. I think the main idea is just how to get out of the robo pressure in the corner when the opponent's running when it's point robo plus and bomber assistance back. Because that's the only thing that at least the only way that I can interpret it right now.
That's not what I wanted. So I'll kind of go through.
Wait, couldn't you just do from the left side though?
No. Okay. So, just on the spacing, do this. So is it just... I'm trying to think of how I'd even do this pressure. I feel like it would just be stuff like that.
Let's see if I can try to replicate something online.
But so, I mean, the thing I'm gonna try and demonstrate first and foremost is if you have a reversal, most of what Robo can do will get blown up by that unless she straight up hard calls you out with this. And even then, sometimes your reversal still lets you DHC and win that interaction. But so it's... No, god dang it. Forgot exactly what I wanted to do immediately. And so it's that. That. I mean, that's more or less it. Then you kind of just have Sure.
Probably like a sweep.
Yeah, I have sweep as one, that as one, and then it's probably just gonna be like. And just something like that. Wait. Oh, it's still on 2. Okay, so this one should be... I was a little bit scuffed timing, but the point will still be the same. Hey. But it's sequential. Can I have this go on repeat in this mod? No, I can't have it do it nicely. Okay. But yeah, so it's... Like, if I see them doing stuff like this, 100%, if you don't want to risk that, you can also try and abuse Absolute Guard. Like that. So you try and push block their initial block string, or if they let Bomber hit first, do that, and then immediately swap your block, which allows you to block both layers, and then they have to time something afterwards. Or not block both layers, but you block both high and low for the duration of your push block. And then you have to hold the mix-up that comes afterwards. You can also try and up back, because unless she's catching you with sweep, everything else kind of just loses to that. And then, yeah. If you're trying to fight your way out of the corner, I think it was repo 2. Or I had something random, don't I? Oops. Dash blocking is your friend. You can try and up forward a little bit, but obviously Parasol's dash is phenomenal for this. But trying to fight your way out of the corner like that, you can't really get under L-Bomber unless maybe you're like Umbrella. So one thing you can do is just hold it. And so depending on what assist you have afterwards, you can also call your assist to then like really enforce your turn and enforce your space out of the corner. Yeah, there's... Because I don't fully know exactly what you're asking about, these are the kind of things that come to mind, and these are the main answers I would be thinking of. And sometimes you just have to be patient versus Robo, because, for instance, after she does this, if you get anti dashing forward, she can catch you with a sweep if you're too slow to get the down input for dash blocking crouching. Among a couple other things. And then she could like TK beam again, but that's where dash blocking comes in, and you will still get some space out of the corner. You typically don't want to be push blocking here. That was a mistake. Just that sort of stuff. However, your character actually ends up getting out of the corner. Patiently. Because kind of what a lot of Robo matchups end up going down to is the tedium of forcing her to a spot where you can contest and she has to make a guess. But she's really good at just being a nuisance, and so if you give her space, oftentimes she will just run away, and you have to chase her down the full screen again. And that's kind of just how Robo and dealing with Robo ends up working. So otherwise, so Robo pressure with M-Bomber is just... Yeah, without any other examples, I'm not entirely sure what else you're asking.
Yeah, Dodovix, if anything, just probably reach out to us, or at off stream, or if I don't know if you're in chat, to maybe clarify a little bit more to it.
And then
at least better try to answer it to the best of our abilities.
Softy also probably. Softy and Tyrone are probably good people to ask, because Tyrone runs L-Bomber, which is a little bit of a different story. Your DPs might lose. but it'll be similar responses outside of that. But yeah. Oh, I can't strike through JP's messages. I can't edit it. No. Okay.
Or if it makes you feel better, I can't either.
How should I look at experimenting? Well, I read it out loud for stream. Smart. How should I look at experimenting with different characters and teams in terms of improving the game? I think my team is good, but sometimes I wonder if other characters might have better synergy or matchups. I mean, in general, playing other characters helps you understand their side of the matchup. It's just a lot of time to dedicate, and it might end up making your main trio weaker, at least for the short term. While you're putting time into others, you might get a little bit more rusty with some of the things you're not touching as often. I'd encourage it, but I would encourage it more as a, like, you just have a fun night and you don't want to take it seriously, and so you're like, I'll mess out with this instead. And then maybe you learn like one B&B and then just kind of spitball things and just go, I wonder if this works, I wonder if that works. Because at the end of the day, most of the people who play a lot of the characters just ended up playing the game for fun and then just going, you know, this character's interesting, I'll give them a shot. And then it just slowly kind of adds all of that knowledge in over a long period of time. And so the TLDR is that it can help, that it is a commitment. And so find a way that you might enjoy it and then do it. Because at the end of the day, it's the easiest to improve or to gain knowledge if you're having fun with it. That's why I still rock some of my old trios every now and again, just because keep the fingers warm, just keep them in the back of my head. And get more experience in other matchups I'm not quite used to.
Yeah, like Dunn said, it's more so that like it's good to experiment, and of course it's a bit of it's time commitment how much you want to dedicate to your experiments. Like, it definitely gives you a lot more insight about that character, so that way, like, and I'm kind of reiterating a lot of stuff. It's just like, especially when you go into other matches and you play against that character, you get a better understanding. It's like, okay, these are the options. These are the options that will be available to them in this scenario or this kind of situation, things like that. So that way when the matchup does happen that you play them, then it's like, okay, I know what type of things to be on the lookout for, than versus going in a little bit more blind.
Back on the beat.
Neat. Okay. Next question. Also, for the record, if people do have questions in chat, throw them in and we will probably get to them.
Yeah,
we usually prioritize the ones in chat in the first place, and then we also have not as many questions as we usually do for a live stream. So if you do have anything you'd like us to check, we can do that. It's more than fine. Alright, so I don't know if I have the muscle memory for this. I don't know if this is going to be... Well, not muscle memory, if I can demonstrate this at all in the lab. But are there any ways Solo Band can approach Robo Fortunes? So,
all I know is parry and beam.
Yeah.
You get a lot of the funny, because, while yes, parry is one of them, you still have things like brass. You still have checks like brass, A-Train. Some of them, you do have your armor with them. You can also go for E-break if you're thinking that they're going to do like say like for TK, L beam, M beam, anything that's not H where it's like the super multi hitting, then it's like, okay, you have E-break to at least move forward, and you're not committing to the move, like do any of that stuff. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, this matchup is not necessarily fun.
That parry window is massive.
So yeah, like parry, you can do parry, and then you can try to go for something afterwards. If you're getting the read that they'll do try to do like upward JHK or like any like the super jump JHK stuff, you can try to call them out with A-Train, things like that. So that way, unless you take the hard knockdown, close the gap, and then push the corner and limit a lot more of their options.
I do not have these TK beams, so I will just do more basic zoning. Yeah, and so that's that's not. You always have, yeah. So brass has a really committal option. You have E-break to try and armor through things if you time it right.
Yeah, like out of all the armor ones, it's probably best you go for M. That still has some armor, but if you're making the big Hail Mary read, then you still have H and H brass as well too, just to punch them in the face. And again, if you do get the hit, you at least get the knockdown on it, so that way you get to close the gap, and then you're closing that distance and pushing them to the corner, so that way you're limiting their escape options.
One thing I will say as a general rule of thumb for dealing with Robo is if you can get above her, it's really nice because none of her beams go upwards. It's really hard for Band because he is massive. But if you get to that part of the screen, obviously the one major threat is them just dashing under you if you have a lot of space behind you, because they want to get under. But you do also have, that's not right, Flurry Circle. That to kind of cash, as well as if you think they're trying to get cheeky, this catches under you pretty well as well.
Yeah, if you think they're gonna run under you, like,
as well as
Robo does have like one of the dashes. Yeah, they okay.
Yeah, and so kind of reiterate and TLDR because I will not be able to demonstrate it in lab all that well. You're trying to do patient options that end up checking through beam. And you're doing the nice classic mini game of just trying to keep them in a corner where you can actually finally force them to try and bail out and react to their escape. Because that's a lot of what every Robo matchup is.
Can I stop this fly from getting away from me?
And Ben's dash block is not bad. It's a little slow, but you can get some progress done. I got crossed up by my own report.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a fun matchup. It is by no means a fun matchup at all.
Yeah, if you find any band players that say, yeah, I like the matchup, let me know so that way I can find them and call them a liar.
The next question is not really a lab question, but it's still kind of important to address. It's just, do you have some mentalities you can fixate on or ponder to help shut out the emotion that boils up when you drop combos? That's it. Obviously, one thing that helps in the first place is labbing or practicing with bots and making sure you don't drop as often. But drops in this game are somewhat inevitable because this game is spaghetti. There's
also, this game is stressful too.
Random stuff will happen, and then your Cloud dropping ABC Super to win a major. Like, everyone drops. And
you can be doing your straight combo, all of a sudden Val looks the other way, turns the other way. Sometimes you can get things going.
You're just playing online, and all of a sudden your super doesn't come out, and you're going, wait a second. It's kind of much, and this is much harder said than done. I struggle with this too, especially if I'm already somewhat tilted for other things. Just learn how to better forgive yourself / understand you are not a robot. You will drop things. Because the way I want to address it in my head is like, I'm on damage control. I drop this, I need to immediately think about what to do next, and then I can worry about the drops after the set. Because once I start getting in my head about drops, not only does neutral and everything deteriorate because I'm in my own head about things I shouldn't be focusing on, you start dropping more, which just becomes a positive feedback loop of you getting angrier and angrier at yourself. And so it's not, I don't have any meditation or anything. It's much more, for me at least, catching myself getting mad, going, this just doesn't produce anything besides more pain, and trying to get out of my head. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of like stress and brackets. It's like some days you roll up and you're like, I got this. And other times you roll up and it's like round 2 and your heart beats at like 100 beats per minute and you're just like, what? Why? Why today?
Yeah, sometimes you like it, and again, like whether it's casual or whether it's tournament, like those type of things are bound to happen. And like Don said, that is stuff like that is definitely a lot easier said than done. Sometimes even just like you drop the combo, or you drop the important combo, all of a sudden you lost momentum, you get comebacked on, and then it's like, well, good stuff. GG's. Walk out the building and say, I'm never playing SG ever again.
And sometimes break is the answer. If you're not able to get out of your head, it's like, I put the game away. For me, it's like music. I'll get up, go grab some water, come back, and just keep listening to some music a little bit. And then what happens afterwards is like your call. Some days I'm like, I'm unhappy, but I'm motivated to do better. And so I'll just hop back on SG and then I'll go into QM or I'll go into lab and it'll be like, I am going to improve. And then sometimes I get more tilted and then I just hop off again. Sometimes I don't. And other times I just like go play a different game with friends. At the end of the day, if you can't get out of your head, you're playing a game. No one plays this game for money. You're playing for fun.
me when I've been playing in 3 tournaments back to back and got paid. No longer living in poverty. Here we go.
You're not quitting your job. You are not playing this for income. At the end of the day, make sure you're enjoying yourself. That is, I will say it a lot probably this stream, but it's true every time.
And even then, like even going to the lab, just like at least for me personally, I don't always necessarily practice like, you know, labs, certain situations or other things like that. I just go into the lab, say, all right, I'm gonna keep on practicing this until like I feel comfortable that, hey, you know what, I landed this, I did it enough times that I'm satisfied, like back to back, or at least I'm a little bit more consistent with it. All right, then we go and play whatever game or whatever matches we want to play. Then whatever happens after that.
Actually, I just realized it was probably could have been better for us to just make a training lobby. So I'm gonna do that.
You know, this is why we're like the substitute teachers today. Alright. Training.
Because the next question is asking about neutral a bit, so it's a lot harder to do that on a. Yeah, so next question is a couple of things. First question is a very, very broad question. How does neutral in this game tend to go? From what I've played, it's a very one-touch and neutral is Oper type of game. Some characters have air movement, some characters are slower, backdashes don't feel like other games' backdashes, and overall trying to learn the feel of footsies is fun. In general, in this game, or for SG, a lot of things are unique, so they will feel different to you. It's like a combination of some things that are present in other games, but very few games end up having the same overall game feel. And so it's a combination of like, you're allowed to dash block, you have blocking in the air, backdashes aren't invuln like they are in some other anime fighters. One of the biggest things for SG is everything is special cancelable on whiff. Very few exceptions that you will learn that come to your character. And so a lot of neutral ends up being
like yours. Especially like, and I can probably help on the other part too of it, because for me, I started with when I got into fighting games, I started with Street Fighter 4. I started with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like a lot of your fighting game like experience kind of help out with this, like each fighting game is going to be different, especially with this type of game. It's supposed to homage more to a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Guilty Gear, Plus R, Action Core, whichever version of that, Double X really, but it's not gonna be like Street Fighter backdashes where you have where you have a little bit of iframes to get away from certain scenarios. It will definitely follow a little bit more like an anime fighter type of movement, type of being. Like even though all your buttons are more like your traditional like 6-button fighter, and especially with this game, the way that the neutral works, and this is gonna vary depending on from team to team, character to character. Like for example, for me, neutral is always gonna depend on, do I have my chair to help me out, and do I have my assistant to back it up, so that way to meet my goal of, all right, now you're here at the corner, and then I do fun like kill you in 2 touches, hard knockdowns, versus like Dunce's team over here. It's not necessary. Dunce gets to control more of the pace against me with throwing things like tears, having the air movement, and especially with the like Eliza's buttons, you have a lot more better mid-range buttons than say maybe versus me if I don't have this chair on, where like I'll have longer range moves, they have a ton of startup as well too.
And so to kind of talked a lot about movement. What neutral ends up being in this game, especially compared to slower games like KOF or Street Fighter, neutral ends up being a lot more preemptive or predictive than those games do. Not to say that they can't be, but stuff happens fast enough in this game, as well as people have a ton of different options to keep their stuff safe. So like I can do this, and all of a sudden it's a very different neutral interaction than if I had just done it by itself. And because assists drastically change your answers to things, you are looking at what their habits are and what their common like responses to your basic movement is, and then you are more often than not trying to choose an option that best deals with the majority of the responses. Just because so much happens in this game so quickly, keeping yourself safe ends up being really important. For the other part that you honestly are pretty correct on, where getting touched once, especially twice, or getting touched twice, especially 3 times, will almost always be a dead character at a very high level. And so there isn't a whole lot you do while you're getting hit. That's why a lot of emphasis ends up being placed on neutral. But on how good your defense gets, you will recognize where mix-up options are coming. And there's definitely a disparity in certain players' defense compared to others. Some people, like, refuse to break their habits, will not block anything. If like you start understanding when they up back, etc. There are other players who will feel like a brick wall to open up, and then you have to play neutral 2 to 3 times just to kill a single character, because they reacted or even just guessed right on the mix. And so neutral varies wildly in this game based on characters, teams, and players. It's a very flexible game that you can either speed up or slow down the pace of really well. And so that's this is a very, very broad general overview of neutral in this game, because more often than not, just about anything ends up working. But that's, I think, where and then yeah, about the game feeling clunky, I think it's just because it's just
like,
different. Like, I feel very fluid in this game, but it's the game I learned fighting games on. I go to KOF and I feel like I'm drowning underwater. Like, the more time you spend, the more natural it'll end up feeling. And then, again, one of the biggest things to get used to is on block, on whiff, on hit, canceling normals into specials changes a lot of how this game ends up working. because you can really mess with people. And really help keep yourself safe. And it's true for a lot of very specific characters as well. Like Parasol with her L-shot, if you want to think of Street Fighter Guile, but Parasol can cancel into boom on whiff.
Yeah, and then you've got characters like Annie that represent more like Guilty Gear Soul.
Yeah, and so it's
or even one of your solo characters like Ryu, and this is just like a lot of the traditional stuff.
Yeah. So to go into how our block strings. So the default advice is do not go past a medium, because this will end up actually getting into... Yeah, I'll kind of tackle 2 and 3. So power block strings, usually assist games are stagger based or assist call based, or a mix of both. I want to play it, it seems more like assist call based, which is fair, yeah. Using assist to force mix-ups rather than normals. Yep. And then what is safe on block on this game? So it's like very broad, general, minus minus 6, because we count first startup as not in the startup. So with the exception of, and I don't think I need to go into the lecture with you of like spacing obviously changes what's safe and what isn't, because you seem to be an experienced fighting game player. Point blank, every character's jab is 6 frames or 6 frames or slower, with the exception of Fortune and Philia. Fortune's jab becomes an issue, Philia's jab is stubby and is almost always never an issue.
Also, to an extent, we can also include Umbi, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
The main 2 is Philia Fortune with 5 frames.
But so talking about that, and so that's why we end up saying usually stick to a medium. Almost every medium in this game ends up being safe on block and is also not PBGC punishable. That is the other major thing you need to be worried about when you're doing block strings, outside of staying minus, is people can make themselves plus. If I just keep doing stuff like that, they can basically end up choosing when they get out of block stun, and if they do it at the right time, a jab can win, or they'll just time a invulnerable reversal, and you'll eat copious amounts of crap if you are not able to stop just... So like for Parasol, you can go all the way into a plus on block special, but depending on when they push block, you're no longer plus there. And so for block string pressure in this game, it's kind of a lot of, and again, this will vary from character to character. Parasol ends up being a little bit more trying to react to how they're push blocking. But you can also keep yourself safe, so like I have lockdown assists that I can call that basically reset myself to neutral and hold stuff down. Ruby has a bit better pressure assists when he's running brass, or like Bomber Axe's lockdown as well. And so the best way to describe block strings are, at a high level in this game, it's using your basic characters to start it, and then keeping yourself safe with your assist calls afterwards, as well as using them to try and open people up if you have like a low assist or a high assist, or if you have a lockdown assist that then lets you get a high-low afterwards, even though they can do push block absolute guard. Block strings are a very, very deep rabbit hole in this game because of how much of this game's defense revolves around push block. Push blocks drastically change when your block strings will hit, because if I get push blocked before I do my stand heavy punch, all of a sudden that whiffs, and if I try and do an L shot, I just get matched on and lose. All that whole shebang. It's very much like a the way I look at it is like a call and response, but again, that's also because I play Parasol, where it's I'm trying to figure out their habits so I can break them down and then open them up with my stuff that's usually pretty easy to push block. It's like all of my stuff is technically safe, but if I do it predictively, or consistently rather, they can predict what I'm going to do, make a plan, and if I don't react accordingly quickly, I will be losing that interaction and likely losing my character for it. That's light to intermediate introduction to block strings. I hope that's a good enough answer for you.
Yeah, it's definitely like it, like the more like it goes way into depth, but yeah, the main thing to point out, because I know, and it's definitely hard because even I try to do this sometimes, I tend to do this from time to time, is that you need to let go of that comparison between one fighting game and the other, because like to go with the easier example, like with Street Fighter, at worst, like minus, like I think it's like -1, -2, you're still somewhat safe. You lose your turn, but you won't be like heavy punished for it. Obviously, like in general, you want to be in your plus frames where it's good, 0 being neutral, and you can have a funny, all right, do I try to take my turn back or continue to extend with my turn, or do I just go back to defense? And then with your minus, you it's like, okay, I understand, like if I'm minus X amount, it's no longer my turn, but at least you'll still be like somewhat safe. But like again, like Dunn said, it gets the picture becomes a lot bigger once like PVGC is involved, or push block guard cancel, to say the whole terminology, as to what things you can get away with, because even at some points, even just like for certain players, they'll be able to guard cancel a medium, and all of a sudden you do not get to play afterwards.
Yeah. And it really depends on your characters, because like if you're playing Eliza and I'm saying not going into a medium, if you're doing that on block, you're still killing yourself, because it ends up being -11 and push block guard cancelable. So obviously it's a very generic rule of thumb, not specific. And again, to reiterate, because this is not the norm for most fighting games, the frame data for this game on the wiki, the startup does not include the first active frame. So if you see something that says it's a 6-frame jab, the first active frame comes up on frame 7. So it can punish, a 6-frame jab will punish a -7 move. It will not punish a -6 move. And I know that is a bit different, so if you hadn't caught that already, that is how this community ends up talking about frame data.
But if you still have more questions on that, feel free to ask us in the Discord, and we can probably have a bigger discussion about it with the others as well.
And then, again, because a lot of it is nuanced, if you have specific questions, it's a lot easier to then get responses. So if you're like, if you send in a VOD review and you're like, what am I doing wrong on these block stings? And then I'll see like very specific habits that can be abused. That's where all of a sudden it becomes a lot more specific and a lot more in-depth for each character. And that's, again, why this game is just a whole can of worms, because the same team with different assists can end up playing very differently. And the same team with the same assists and different players can end up playing very differently. So there's a lot of freedom to play how you want in this game. At least until you get to like the highest level, and even then it's not that optimized. But time to move on to the next. So I have no idea how to properly play neutral with Dahlia or Robo outside of throwing out their respective projectiles. So I'll pull up
Data.
I don't know if I want. Oh, I did. Can you click change character? Or heck. Thank you.
I know the feel.
I will use Parasol as an analog for Dahlia because I have not touched Dahlia, but I personally think they play similarly.
There's different usage of ammo and things like that, but
yeah, there's obviously going to be the differences of when you're doing it in the air. Actually, I can talk about it using Fuqua and Parasol, because she has aspects of both. I don't really care about assists. Actually, I probably should. Shadow. Shot. Yeah. But I'll mainly focus on Robo and then talk a little bit about the others. So, Robo is like one of the, I guess, the truest like actual runaway character in this game. Outside of this button, almost everything else pretty bad for neutral. There's a couple of reasonable options, but this is your god button.
This is also kind of good as well too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so you really excel at making a wall to approach you and checking people, especially their assists, with basically hit scan beams. As well as this is an incredibly good runaway tool, and your dash is one of the fastest in the game, so you can kind of just run under people. Your backdash is alright. It's not all that much to talk about, but so like the way Robo Neutral ends up working is you are just playing to be about as annoying as possible. And the best Robos you'll see actually end up using beams far less than a lot of other like QM Robos you can see. So like Cat Pie will pick and choose exactly when he's doing his beams very deliberately, and then the second he knows he can't, and he usually has brass behind it, so it's a bit better for him. He can be a little bit more aggressive, but so like you are trying to first and foremost get yourself in a safe position and then start setting up just a little bit of a wall of stuff. And the second you get kind of closest to the corner, this is where you're going, I need to make a choice of how to get out of here. And so those two options usually end up being, if you think they're staying on the ground, you go for super jump heavy kick. If they try and call you out for going in the air, you just run under them. You time a dash. Can't help if you also use an assist with a dash just to try and cover your options. And so first and foremost, layer 1 is try and get like mid-screen or farther away, and then start checking them with good TK beams. Jump heavy punch covers a lot of space, so you can do stuff like that, or that can kind of make a wall. But once it gets to a certain point, you are just trying to bail out and get yourself more space to run away, because that's what she is incredibly good at doing. Layer 2 is once they start like feeling your zoning patterns, you start changing things up. So if they're like constantly trying to super jump after you do things, you can catch them in the air with more M-beams. And then once they start dashing under that, you go for like a cheeky little that, or you get above them because they're being slow on the ground and hit them with the L-beam. And then layer 3, once you want to start contesting people more, and this kind of goes back a little bit more to how you keep yourself safe as well, is if they've gotten through 2 beams, you can still press a button on the way down.
JMP.
Yeah, and so this is kind of your wall to keep people out. Jump medium kick is not awful either for a landing button. This is kind of too slow to usually use most of the time in those situations. And so that's how, if people are getting a little too close but not keeping themselves safe, you can do that. If you're on the ground and they're being really patient, she has the fastest dash in the game. This catches a lot of people. It's risky, but this is when you start noticing people like being really patient, really turtley to get through your stuff and try and choke out space. You just run up to that. If they start getting used to that and up backing, or if you just want to call out some other bigger buttons in neutral, press your god button. This is like the bread and butter of making people really pissed off at approaching you, because the second you start getting them running at you and become a little bit unsafe, or if you like can time it exactly when they're trying to dash so they have a really hard time blocking afterwards, all of a sudden you're in with a full combo. You can either opt to mix, or you can just send them full screen at the end. keep going. And that's kind of how the Robo game plan ended up working. Just minimizing risk and keeping yourself as far away and as safe as possible. It's really hard to get all of the nuances right. There's a massive difference between the best Robos and the Robos a couple tiers below them. She's a really hard character to learn. So if you feel yourself getting frustrated, it's more than fine. She is awkward as hell, and sometimes you could have made an alright decision but just guessed wrong, and then all of a sudden you're exploding, because she's a really volatile character once they get their hands on you. For Dahlia, she has some pretty big buttons, and so again, I'll use Parasol kind of as an analog. So Dahlia has buttons that kind of reach at this space for mediums, are forward advancing, and catch a lot. So, and she also has a pretty good ground dash. It's not as good as Parasol's because it has a little bit of a startup, and her back dash is definitely worse than Parasol's, but she also has the option to actually shoot stuff in the air and create projectiles, and her jump heavy kick is a really good space control option. But the reason I compare her to Parasol is usually the Parasol default game plan ends up being a little bit more zone control, space control, and then she does what Robo does, just like, or what Robo can do, but consistently, where you go, okay, I'm zoning, I'm noticing your habits, I'm just changing the pace and immediately going in, trying to catch you out with my better buttons. Black Dahlia is really good at doing this as well. She doesn't quite have the pressure of going in with a tier on them to keep herself safe, but she can usually use assist to do that, as well as if you have like a status effect, so if you did it with a fire grenade. It's very similar, where you kind of keep yourself safe. And so you're playing this game where you're towing the line of, hee hee, I'm running away, I'm really annoying to catch, boom, I'm in your face with, like, basically just low throw mix, because she also has a standing overhead. And her throw is not bad either. Dahlia's throw is pretty reasonable. And so it's also similar to Kua. I picked her because you end up using your airborne projectiles a little bit more than your grounded ones as Dahlia, compared to Parasol, who doesn't have the option to throw it in the air. But so you are using your projectiles to control where they're going, look at their habits, and then once you start getting an idea of what they're doing, you call assist, go in, just try and catch them lacking. Because Parasol and Dahlia change their pace of what they want to do really quickly by virtue of how fast they can start moving forward. Dahlia's Dahlia's ground dash, again, is quite solid. She also has assault. Her assault's a pretty good way to change momentum, and she can do it in the air, like at any time. And because it tracks, you can catch a lot of people doing really silly things. Dahlia's jump light punch, just like Parasol's, is a phenomenal button. Yeah, you are there to be unpredictable. The second you are predictable, the game becomes really hard because your tools are exploitable. You have a strong, wide set of tools for you to use, and if you only use a narrow portion of them, they all have counterplay, so you will start getting punished for it. And that is how I would TLDR playing Dahlia and Robo. Oh, TLDR, that was a very long-winded rant of and I hope that makes sense. I don't know if you have any other
I mean, I don't have much for Dahlia or any of that because I don't play anywhere near. But as far as I know, like when it comes to Dahlia, it's just like, yeah, using your mid-range stuff, you still like get used to keeping an eye on your bullet tracks as well too.
Yep.
Since unlike the rest of the other characters in the game, you gotta make sure that you have the ammo to even shoot your shots. And then obviously sometimes depending on the ammo that you get, ice shot, like electric shot, it will change your zoning pattern and other things like that. So you gotta be able to adapt on the fly. But when you do get the head, you can get your things like you can do your reload super and then start cashing out for damage with whatever moves that you want to do, or even start setting things up for makes up and others, like with flame shot that it gets the hit and then you get your left right, but a whole bunch of other shenanigans. But at least that's just like the general gist for Dahlia. But there's other players in the Discord, which if I go to the chat and I do this, there's definitely a lot of other players that, or at least other people that are in the Get Gr8 Discord that have been messing around with Dahlia. And again, right now it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit harder to say because she just got an update again today, so she got a little bit of adjustments, which is still not quote unquote finalized. You still plan on doing a little bit more. This is a minor adjustments before the full release, but as she is right now, that's more or less going to be how she's going to play now, versus the several months that we just had right now over different Dahlia patch.
Okay. I need to change characters. Let's see. So there's an Eliza question.
I was about to say, don't you have Eliza?
Yeah. How should I be using Robo Heads in neutral? Good way to deal with mashers. Robo Clyde resets. I don't know if I can help. We'll see. I'll just pick these 3 characters, but I might need to forward you to someone else for Robo Clyde because that seems like a juice question. I know they were playing that. Nomlai probably has some. I'll try and.
I would think Softy might also have some too.
Oh yeah, probably.
Let's dance, darling.
It's just not really matter. Robo, Beam, and then we said Clyde. I hate the input from Clyde with a Burning Passion. Why? Why?
What do you mean why?
It's the only special that's inputted like a command normal.
Oh, well, you know. They thought it'd be funnier that way.
So, first question. How, as Eliza, do I... Well, yes, a few times as Eliza where my opponent finds themselves between Sekhmet and the totem and doesn't give me an easy way to return without being punished. What are my options as Sekhmet and neutral to try and open the opponent or get away from them so I can return? Get them away from the totem so I can return. So, in general, this is a really bad position to be in.
Yeah.
Like, and so after a certain amount of time, you'll be losing life outside of Eliza regardless. So you are on the timer. Your ways to deal with this are a little cursed and kind of reliant on either you making big reads or your opponent playing pretty passive. So first thing is kind of just hoping you have an assist, because if you have an assist, one thing you can do, if you do your recall input, you walk through people. So you can kind of call an assist. Hopefully you have something like beam, brass, etc. probably work the best, but that's not a great input. Other things can help, especially because it ends up being a pseudo mix. So like if I call a low and you have to guess left, right on low as I'm walking, that's probably the strongest way to get back in. Depending on what assist you're using, if they check you with like a sweep beforehand, they might end up hitting you and your assist before your assist actually covers it. So it can get checked. So obviously if you're doing stuff like that, you can also... Okay, that's basically check. Monster is... Monster is... Do something like this. Because you can DHC out. It's expensive, it's 2 meter, but you kind of have to do it sometimes. That is probably the safest way out if you have a safe DHC to allow yourself to do so. Other options?
Evil moment.
Why are you like this?
Woo!
But yeah, so obviously, if you're double there, do cat heads. But the other things to do if they haven't put the dash right. Oh, you can super jump as skeleton. I forgot about that. obviously you have the just kind of like walk up menacingly, threaten low pie. Sometimes people are just afraid enough of skeleton that you straight up can just like walk at them and then all of a sudden do recall and they'll just be too afraid to do anything about it. If you want to be cheeky and you expect them to do something, you can walk up and then just like hesitate for a second, or if you think they're gonna do that, that's your option. But all of these like more segment reliant ones rely on you guessing correctly, because if you guess wrong, you're losing the character. And so in general, that's just a situation you like to avoid. But those are your options that you have for the most part to kind of get around it. Okay. When you need to improve in every aspect, how do you go about focusing on where to improve next? That's what has the most impacts. Like, is it better to learn more mix-ups and pressure, or is it better to learn defense and how to punish things more advantageously? So, if you don't want to be making that call yourself, or like if you don't know what would give you the most bang for your buck, best thing to do, ask a player. And I mean, so that's one of the things we try and focus on, where it's like, obviously there's a lot of things in a lot of people's gameplay that could improve, but we focus on what we think are the most pertinent issues, and like those are what we'll recommend touching up the most. And obviously as you're playing, you'll notice things in your gameplay as well. And so if you think you have an idea of what your weakest parts are, you kind of just make a list, whether it's a mental list or if you want to like actually write down or like make a Google Docs of things to improve on. And then so you prioritize which ones you or someone has told you probably will fix the most problems with your gameplay. And you kind of just pick 2 or 3. Honestly, you can make it even 1 if you really want to focus hard on very much one specific thing. And you kind of just go, I'm playing this set, I am focusing specifically on this. Or I'm trying to make sure I get more consistent at doing these 2 things. And whether it's like, I'm not going to drop, and I want to work on chicken blocking. It's like, it could be a wide array of things, but you have a list of all the things you want to be working on, and it's too much to keep all in your head at once. Go in with the main idea of having a select few things to focus on, and then trying to stick with them until they become a lot less mentally taxing for you to focus on. Once they start becoming part of your autopilot, and then you can like add in another thing once you feel more comfortable. If you start slacking, you can, or start feeling like you're not getting everything done that you wanted to, you can scroll back and try and focus on them again. And then it's just kind of limiting the things for you to focus on, practicing them in a good environment. So just like in a lobby, you said, I'm going to focus on this. And sticking with it, because at the end of the day, it all ends up just being, how much can I get to be autopilot so I can think about new things to focus on? And then that's where you just kind of like, you keep adding things to your autopilot, where all of a sudden, things you had to think about a month ago, all of a sudden are just like snap reaction responses. And keep in mind, the month is an arbitrary time. Sometimes you get it immediately, sometimes you're still working on it like half a year later, and you're just like, I can't get the hang of this, and it's just time spent. And the more time you spend, the more random crap you'll improve it. Yeah, and so yeah, focusing on where to improve next, what has the most impact, where you feel you're losing the most games, or again, using our resource, or just asking a player you've played against, like, what do you think is my weakest? Or doing VOD review, whether it's through me or with someone else. They'll usually have a laundry list of things, like, here are the things you could probably do better. These are what I'd recommend focusing on. These are like the major issues that you will see improvement. And that's kind of how you end up figuring out what's next on the list to work on. At least that's how I do it personally. I don't know if you do it any differently, Ruby.
I mean, we know me and my great selection of characters, so
You just chug the right glue
my
beforehand?
mid allegations,
For me, like especially for improving, like I try to look, I try to look at the things, I try to look at it piece by piece. So like, for example, like for me as Bale, I try to see, okay, what like there's like how do I make like what can I do after a hard knockdown? I try to look at the options of, okay, is it like a practice of safe jump setups, anything for meaty setups, like and then also making sure that at least when I do get the hit, I do know how to either do the combo that leads me into a kill, or go in, if I do get the hit, do I have something to route it into another side of the mix. Like even right now for me as double, I try to look at, I try to say, I see it as, okay, do I have B&Bs down? Because first and foremost, that's gonna be, because at least to me, what's important is, okay, you got the hit. Now, what do you do with said hit? Like, do you have a combo down? So that way, at least you know how to get your routing into killing, or do you have your routing to go into mix? Like, I try to look into combos just because at least I got the hit. And as well as like, and then learn maybe one or two mixups, so at least I know what I can do. And especially and the more mix, and then I think for at least learning other mixups is good along the way. Once starting, unless you get once you get to a point of like, okay, this is no longer working. Now I should look into more other stuff that I can, or that X character could do. And pressure as well. This might be a hot take, but I think that one just comes through more with time, with the more games you play, because you're gonna have, for certain characters it's gonna be different depending on the character, certain players, as well to the way that you're gonna be able to push on them. Like for example, like Dunce is gonna have to play a different when they go against like Beowulf. The way that they apply their pressure is going to be different from how, say, if they were to fight me or so.
And yeah, that's two different sides of the coin. You have an on-hit player and a very neutral focus player. So I hope that covers everything. You didn't type. That was an next question. How should I be using Roboheads in neutral? Kind of depends on matchups, but very, very basic way to look at it. This is an extra projectile that homes. It's another obnoxious layer for them to deal with. If they struggle to approach you, so if it's something like Eliza or Band or some of those worst matchups, wrong things entirely. Mine becomes a little mini monster. It's just another wall for them to have to deal with. Obviously, you have the funny, especially
if you want to put a mine down, so another example of how it works.
It stops some of their more.
Yeah, so
it limits their options further, basically. And the more you limit their options, the more predictable they are, the easier it is for you to kind of just fake your way around. And then obviously, you have the funny, I have bought myself all this time, especially if you have taunt, if you were going for chip, if you were going for just like trying to get another character in safely. Haha, funny. What you gonna do about it? Obviously, this works best with the more heads you have, but it still can be a tool to use even with like 1 or 2 heads. Although it's probably more easily used, or it's much more easy to use a single head as just this. Or if you want to just always have one, so you can bail yourself out of, well, I say bail yourself out of, technically this is punishable still, I think, if they do it right.
Yeah, you gotta grab punish it.
Yeah. But you kind of have all those sorts of layers. And so it's like you just add it into how you want to be doing all of your other zoning. You can also stockpile them if you want to do funny things with your level 3. I actually think how you eat your heads is level 3.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's just
you also
level
get the
3.
dodge jump as well too.
Oh, yep.
That's-
I constantly forget that's a thing because no one does it.
I don't know. Occasionally does it.
PME does it. I forget. Like,
Explode.
yeah. So it's very much a matchup dependent thing because like this will do a lot more work versus a Parasol or someone than it will versus a Philia because Philia just like it doesn't track well enough to deal with airball. This will do a lot more work in certain matchups than others, and so kind of either mess around yourself or watch other Robo players and just see what matchups they like using their heads for what purpose. And it's also very much up to user preference because I know Sunset will just sit here all day, get this, try and get taunt, and then do this every day of the week. Like, whereas you'll see others prioritize just getting a mine out. Very much up to your preference and what you like doing. They each have their own strengths and weaknesses. It's just how much do you want to spend time setting up heads and doing all that sort of stuff in neutral compared to just I'm Robos.
Yeah, I'm going to beam now.
It's just another a little bit more niche tool to our kit, but can add another layer to matchups that if people aren't experienced with dealing with, can end up turning them more in your favor. Just another little tool in our toolkit. Good ways to deal with mashers. Actually, you just want to do funny Bayo safe jump?
Oh, where's my G at? All right. Ugh.
So, a good amount of characters in this game have something they can do where they will have a hitbox out on Wake Up, but it will recover before any of the opponent's reversals will come out. Largely, these end up not working on SSJ because that's a 2-frame startup. Other than that, they're a very good tool to use and figure out if your characters have them. Parasol and Bayo are the biggest examples. Eliza has some, Fortune has some, Painwheel has them.
Ella has them.
A lot of characters in this game end up having them, so figuring out what you have is good to know. Word of warning, overuse typically means they're going to be predictable. Almost all of the safe jumps in this game are overheads, so if I know you're going to do a safe jump the whole time, all of a sudden I know I'm safe, I don't need to mash, I will block it and push block you out. So use in moderation. It's the other side of the coin to mashing. It's like if you mash too much, you will get punished by people who do safe jumps. If you safed up too much because you're too afraid of people mashing in your face, you become predictable and you never open up anyone again. If you want to show the safe jump again, Ruby.
So for Bayo, it's yeah. Oh, what's my EX? So you have things like the overhead, meaty overhead that you can go into. There's also I'm trying to go for meaty low. But if we're talking about like the safe jump, like hold on, let's do it again. So here's like safe for the safe jump.
Yep. So I didn't get hit, but they blocked my reversal, which is unsafe. So afterwards, I die. That's what a safe jump ends up looking like. They invuln through the hit, but you are able to block before the reversal comes out. That is one of the best ways. Depending on how they are mashing, burst baits are also good. At the lower level, and sometimes at the higher level, Graham, you will find players who will burst at things that are kind of obviously burst baits, where... Oh, I messed that up.
I'll do it.
I'm not setting this up. Yeah, you just do it. Where it's like they're just pressing. They're like, I'm churning this stick. I am doing a 360 and mashing all of my buttons. Burst baits are really good for that. They are the biggest bang for your buck in terms of punish. You get a free heavy counter hit. You are killing that character for pressing buttons.
Yep. And like depending on like how we go about the burst bait as well, like
you can get pressure afterwards.
Like you can go into a heavy counter hit and then just do damage
Yeah. Outside of that, a lot of the most commonly matched reversals in this game are not safe on block. Sometimes people have safe DHCs, and this is the thing you need to get used to if you want to weigh it in. One thing I like doing a lot as a parasol, that is a safe DHC.
Spend 5 bar, don't worry about that. Or the other classic.
Yep. Yeah, cats. One thing I will do if I know people are like reacting to what I'm doing post wake up, I will literally just jump at them. It works. It's also a lot nicer if you have an assist because you can do it safely while the assist still actually applies pressure. Just jumping at people and saying I'm going to block the mix you're doing, like doing nothing beats mash a lot of the time. Sometimes mashes are command throws, and that's a different story entirely, but general, like, those are some of the major ways to just deal with mashes. There are also probably setups you can find to, like, space out of very, like, a certain character's specific reversal options, but that's getting into the nitty-gritty of what each character wants to be doing. Okay. Do you have anything else that comes to your head for dealing with mashers?
Sometimes it's just well, like you said, burst baits it's good on one of them. Safe jumps for others. Frame traps if you really want to.
Yeah. And then one of the final things is, if you notice, if it's happening much more as like a PBGC option, layering your assists, especially if you have an armored assist. So, like, if you're running brass, or if you're running lock and load, if you're running even something like Sekhmet assists, hauling it so it comes out in the window in which they'll be reversaling. If you do it well, it will work. If you do it poorly, sometimes, or if you're not keeping in mind their DHC options, sometimes they just DHC into something with a lot of hits that's still invul in like a Parasol level 3, and you just lose incredibly hard. So that... These, it very quickly becomes situation specific of the ways you want to be dealing with how they're mashing. Also, yeah, Juice is right, cross-ups. Cross-ups will mix up people's inputs, and you can just catch them looking real silly.
Oh yeah, the funny cross-ups.
Wait, you can monster when there's a monster out? That's silly.
I try to do the flesh stuff. Sometimes the cross-ups also cross you.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready. Wait a minute. I have power here. Wait, what am I doing? There we go.
Actually, Juice, if you would want to hop in here, you are much more qualified than either of us to answer this question. Do you have any Robo-Clyde mix-ups to demonstrate?
Just remember, this is PG-12, so you can't yell at me afterwards. Alright.
You're getting shot, Ruby. I'm sorry.
You know what? It was.
Oh wait, you banned Juice. They couldn't even respond.
No, they can listen to a stream. They don't need for us to text.
Do I have Juice
So
on my
just
friends list?
get in the call because we actually need you to explain some crap.
Is Juice not on my friends list? Am I crazy?
How do I? Let's see. Oh no, wait! I have the power. Add just box.
I'm gonna just throw that in chat. For Juice.
Alright. I've also added them.
Maybe they just left. Despair. You bullied them too hard, and they said, "Nah, I'm out."
They should have thought about that before they said their words.
Because other than that,
and before Juices, and it just wanted to say that and then be like, yeah, no, I'm out. I actually did not feel like helping out. I just wanted to see what you guys' response would be.
Oh, I know what I can. Oh wait, did you do it? Hold on. Oh, there is that juice? There they are. Oh, the question is, can they be heard?
I cannot hear Juice. No.
I cannot hear them. They're on mute.
I miss Juice.
I don't. They're gonna make fun of me right now.
You.
Hello?
Yo. Oh. And just died again.
Death.
Death.
Oh, ban me.
Yo, you're free from the ban. What are you talking about?
Just get in.
What does that have to do with your Discord call, bro? Oh, his microphone is done.
Or do you not actually have RoboClide mix? You never actually answered the question, so I could be just pinging you for no reason.
Oh my! I think Juice might have died.
We're getting trolled.
Wait,
Yo, where
you're
are
asking me a question?
No, we're asking for your help. Do you have any RoboClide stuff?
We need a demonstration because neither Ruby nor I play the show.
I mean, no and yes. Like, oh, got you. Open the game.
we are doing a live stream and someone asked for demonstrations. We pinged you for demonstrations.
I wonder why we got banned.
Oh, sheesh.
Clueless.
Alright, let me join.
Also, Softy just says you jump forward as Robo and call Clyde and everyone gets hit. I will second that. That is bad
He's
annoying.
spitting.
Also, because
it's really not very advanced. It's actually super simple.
and then also if you want to do L beam instead of jumping forward, you can neutral jump L beam, and if they're doing anything and get caught by the L beam, the Clyde gives you a free conversion, and it's maddening to play against. I think it was Anomaly who was playing it, and I was just losing my mind. This was a while ago. I still remember my hatred vividly.
Namely when they're on the Eliza.
Bro. While we're waiting for my Skullgirls to open,
Yeah?
I just had the greatest gym workout ever.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody should go to the gym, dude.
I probably should.
Yeah, why are you grinding Skullgirls? Go grind your body.
I'm just lazy.
Yeah, but grinding my body means that I have to.
I feel that.
I ain't trying to like leave my house for 2 hours.
Yo, I
Lazy.
left my house yesterday. I don't want to leave ever after that. That was like the spookiest drive I've ever done.
Bro,
Dude, that rain was OD.
I left my house and spent $150. I never want to leave again.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. If I go outside, that means money's gonna get spent somehow.
I thought the training lobby broke for a second. I was about to scream.
Actually, would never do that to you. 100 you dunce. Yo, shout out to fully being back into the cord though.
Gamer.
Now I too.
Is that really something to be
Shout out.
happy about?
I know.
So like, all right, Clyde is really cool because you can pick up all beams. So like, let's see. I think from here is the max range. Yeah, and you can just pick up. You can pick up off TK beams. Generally, people do it with L beam. L beam is
Yeah.
like really good. This sort of like angle is like a really like I feel like L beam is like super duper underutilized by like mid-level robos.
Yeah.
Like denying like a whole diagonal angle of the screen is like super sick, and then Clyde lets you convert.
One thing to keep in mind if you're looking to air L-beam Clyde, you cannot call an assist if you super jump. So if you're going to super jump, you need to call the assist beforehand.
Yes.
That is one very
So,
important
yeah,
thing to keep in mind.
If I do this, I have to call the assist first. As Robo, you'll learn to do this, and then you can call an assist. So even though I'm like technically super jump height, I can still call my assist. But if I actually super jump, I cannot. I'm like mashing it. You can see like the on the top right side of the screen, that little red light means I can't call an assist. If I do this, it never turns red.
Yep.
You can do stuff like that too. Really nice. It's honestly like not very deep. She has an overhead, so you get like a little high-low. So you can do. Alright, what's gonna do this? Get a little high-low thing. Get a conversion. I believe it gives throw combos.
You might need to beam.
If you're better than me.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. You get a little throw combo. Yeah, Robo does like a lot of like ambiguous JMPs like this. So you know, you get your high low like that. She has. Stop blocking.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
You little ish. You can do stuff like that. Or like if they're scared of the overhead. She doesn't have instant double jump stuff anymore. You used to be able to do like this and do like overheads whenever, but whatever. Other than that, it's super simple. Yeah, it's just the hardest thing with Robo is like knowing when it's safe to beam, and the big thing that Clyde gives you is like it makes all your beams super rewarding because it turns them all into a full combo instead of like 60 damage or whatever. Yeah. Then you get, you know, general double Robo stuff. So you get like this into puddle.
And then we get to do fleshed up beam. Smile.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good old fleshed up
You
plus
do
assist.
get funny stuff. You do get like some funny stuff with like that.
Oh yeah, she does.
There's some weird stuff you can do. I don't. There you go.
Huh.
I don't actually mix with beam, but you could.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Were there any other questions? I don't have chat open.
Yeah.
I don't know what the stream chat or what the lab chat is.
Yeah, I don't think we've
Lab
seen
question.
any questions from stream, and that was the last one on the list for lab stream questions. But so it seems like it's mostly just typical Robo resets, but you add Clyde just to add high-low layer / do nothing layer.
Yeah, it's actually like really strong. I think people sometimes overcomplicate mix in this game. Like you don't need to have like a 19-way mix-up for it to be good. Things like restand into assist and you block, or you know high-low, or like high delayed assist. Like these are all like good. You know, like you don't need. This is good enough. People play like Dragon Ball, Street Fighter with just basic 50/50s. You don't have to go super hard. I do believe she gets like fun combos in the corner because she can do like something like that and then get a combo and it does like a crap ton of damage and gives her a head, but I don't know them off the top of my head. It's out there if you look hard enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Many thanks. Are there any last-minute questions in chat?
I'm gonna ask a Philly a question.
The connect link? Do you mean like the lobby link? Because all you have to do is when you're in lobby, Control C, and it copies it to your clipboard. And so technically it opens up a web browser, but the second you open it up, it should redirect you to Steam and prompt you to open Skullgirls. Yeah, it is quite convenient. There's other ways of getting it, but it's so much more work, and it's so much nicer that they implemented just Control Copy to join lobby.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You also get that. Alright. Real quick on this Robo Clyde thing. In the corner, Robo can do like, if you have a mine, there's ways to do it mid-screen, but I don't know it. You do like mine into TK L beam, and then you do like double jump JLP. It's like a fuzzy overhead. There you go. That's like a fuzzy overhead. And then because you're jumping and double jumping, you still have access to your assist. So you can do, well, if you're better than me. While
Could we ever be better than you?
I believe you can like delay your double jump after you recover from beam. And then call slide, and then you have to do your 50.
Wait, can you call assist after double jump?
No, you can't call an assist when you double jump, but I
Oh,
believe
you
you can recover from beam.
Yeah, I
And then call assist.
mixed up the order. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that. There you go. So that would be the setup. See if I could do it just once. Why I don't play this, because then people will realize that I'm actually just bad at this game. There we go.
I mean, you're
I have fun with
retired, so you have the OS.
That's true. That's true. I'm still cooking though. I'm like a grandpa in the game, bro.
I mean, do retired players play almost every day?
Seb does.
Is Sev retired? They just don't compete.
That sounds like retired to me.
Well, on that note, if there are no further questions from chat, I don't think, or well, there were no advanced promos needed today, so I
The only
think
thing
we will
I
be.
can promote is that apparently we have a GC&DT today.
We do have a CC&D tournament tonight.
I thought that was like next week or something. I didn't think
Nope.
it was.
It is tonight in 30 minutes. If you go to challenge right now, you will already be checked in, so you don't have to worry about that.
I will not play. I played 3 back to back. I am not doing a 4th.
No, 4, easy.
Oh.
Make that bank. You said you were playing for money.
Listen, if there's anything I've learned, is that from the last CC&DT, I don't think I will be getting that money. Oh, Triv entered? Yo, Deuce, you should enter.
Nah, I'm actually moving into an apartment. Ooh, I love that. No one ever texts that Erica. No. Sorry, that's just the. I'm not gonna give you a long
No.
answer, no.
Well, on that note, hope all y'all have a good evening. I will throw y'all to another gamer.
Wait, is CC&D?
Sure the wealth. They are not streaming already, so these go to Fervent Black.
Don't do it again, him.
Not cool, hands. Not on time.
Oh wait, I need to do it as right. I forget I need to do it as the host. You can't do it as the mod.
Oh, well. Anyways, there's other Skullgirls streamers. That's not us. See us in like 20 minutes when the CC&D stream actually goes up.
Yeah, but for now, I will send you all to another gamer who is having some fun streaming. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Ugh.